Arsenal scored, and you can put a place value holder there, like %D, scored that many goals, and you want that placeholder to be replaced by Arsenal goals. Do you understand what happened there? Basically, this time here, I want to get value from the user. So I'm asking number of goals Arsenal have scored. Maybe they have scored 3 goals. I'm just going to write Arsenal scored 3 goals. Yeah. So what you do is, right? You put a statement that you want the user to see, like that one there. Then you have to you want now, after you ask them a question, they are going to enter a value. You want to get that value and you want to save it somewhere. So this is what you do. Use the scan function. You say scanf, make sure you open this bracket here, you close the bracket. Now, what you're getting from the user, you are expecting an integer because you're not expecting the user can put anything. By the way, this is very simple code. There are some checks we're supposed to enter to do. Right now, you're assuming that the user is going to enter an integer, then they enter a character like Z. What's going to happen? The program is going to crash. But let's not handle that first. Let's keep our code a bit simple and assume that we are dealing with user not trying to break the program. So this statement here is going to get what the user has entered and save it in this variable. Previously, we were saying Arsenal goals equals something. That's how we were creating, that's how we were assigning a variable to Arsenal goals. But this time, we do not assign a variable. We ask the user for it. When they give it to us, we save it inside here. Now we can come and say Arsenal scored those number of goals. So this time, when we run, it asks us, under there, enter goals scored, I enter 5, and I run that. Okay, I have a problem. Okay, there we go. It asks, I enter the goals, and it prints out what I want it to print out. That's fine. Yes. pick up some code for me. But basically, what's going to happen here is something very interesting. You put the word switch, then the goals or whatever statement you want, then you say case. Okay, so we have our switch. Now let us put everything inside brackets like so. So we begin, okay, what the case where, now we are now looking at these goals here. So the case where the goals are 0, what do you want to happen? The only problem is it works with fixed values. Normally it's going to be an integer you're comparing, or it's going to be a character. This could be a case whereby you're dealing with, say, grades. So you could have grade A, grade B, grade C, grade D. So you do the calculation first here, and then you could assign whatever you want here. So it's a bit simple, as you see. It's just going to, its weakness is the fact that you don't directly, we can't directly put an expression in here. We deal with the values directly, but basically, we have taken the goals, and after getting the goals, we have to check, is this value here is 0? Do this. Is it a 2? Do this. Is it a 4? Do this. As you can see, we are not taking care of every possible situation, but there are situations whereby this is very, very powerful. When you have certain fixed values that are predictable, whereby as your goal is going to, maybe it's going to be something specific, it's going to be something you can predict in advance, either going to be this or this or this or this. So you like, in case it's that, do this, in case it's that, do this, in case it's that, do this, and for all other situations, do this here. So for each of them, you're supposed to have a break. Like so. You're going to have a break here. Good. So each of them is supposed to be like that. Now, look at all this formally. I don't know if we shall manage to cover it within 30 minutes. Okay, so let's now look through the notes I did earlier. But basically, if you look at your Moodle, you're going to find a bunch of questions. I hope you'll be able to try them out. If you take inside your Moodle, you're going to find these questions here. There are a bunch of questions. I hope at least you can do quite a number of them. So basically, I give you a sample of what might be expected. So for example, here, your question should ask somebody, enter a number A, and the user enters maybe 6. Then it should tell them 6 is an even number. Again, enter a number, maybe A, if you put 89, you should tell them it's an odd number. So you're going to write code for that. Then it's comparing things, checking what is bigger than the other, B is bigger than whatever. So this is what the output should show. Like enter a number A, someone enters 6. You ask them enter a number B, they enter 8. Then you're going to do something in there, some calculations, some whatever, and you're going to write out maybe B is bigger than A by 2, or A is bigger than B by 2. You're going to see how you're going to handle that. So there are a bunch of questions here. At least try 3, 4, 5, or 6. I put them as 2 sets. Okay, the second set of questions here. So, like I said, hopefully you try as many as possible and to help you get ready for your test 1, which you are aware is next week, right? So, this will help you. we have looked at everything that we're going to cover today in terms of brag. So now this is just the text associated with it. Can you please follow this just quickly? It's only like 20 minutes left. So you have a situation whereby maybe you have a password and you want a certain secret, for example, to be only be printed when someone enters the right password. So if you just say enter password and then you read the password, if you print, you are going to tell them the secret, whether the password they have entered is right or the password they have entered is not right. So that is why we have this concept here of conditional statements. You can have your password saved somewhere within your code and you check. You ask the user for password. What they have entered, is it equal to what the password is? In this case here, the password is 500. So is it 500? Only if they have the right thing, only then do you print out the secret. Otherwise, you do not print out the secret. And as you can see, based on this flow chart here, you read the password and you check it. That expression there. So, does the expression evaluate to true or does it evaluate to false? If it evaluates to true, display. If it evaluates to false, then end the program. So, you've seen that. And now here, these are referred to as relational operators. The important thing here, it can only be logical true or false. So is it less than, is it greater than, it's equal to. Please remember, equal to is two equal signs. One equal sign is for assignment. When you say A equals 3, you are assigning 3 to A. When you say A equals 3, you are checking. You're checking, you're doing a comparison, you're checking if A is equal to 3. So in that if else statement there, we're checking if something equals something, you use two equal signs and not one equal sign. I normally ask this in your first test, and every single time at least about a quarter fail. So you have less than or equal to, you have not equal to as well there. So you may have multiple if statements. You could have one single if statement. You could have nested if statements, which you have already seen. This is an example of a nested if statement. Okay, it's one way of checking. Like if somebody enters, okay, you haven't yet played with characters, but the same way you dealt with integers and all that stuff there, you can check characters. And since you're only reading one character at a time, if you're checking where somebody has entered no, and this is one way of doing it. It is a very artificial way of doing it. There are better ways of doing it. But basically, you check. If the first thing they entered is M, check if the next thing they entered is O, then you know that they entered no. And then you make a decision. So you look at this code, this flowchart here. I'm going to share them with you. Then we have looked at the if-else statement. As you can see, the if-else is just here begin. You can ask the user to enter something, you read whatever they have entered, then you have a decision to make. So the decision is being checked here in the if. So if password is equal to 500, 500. If this evaluates to true, display. If it evaluates to false, display an error. In that case there, here it is, if password is that, do that, else, do that. Like I told you, my way of putting else right here is styling. This way here is 100% okay. So if this evaluates to true, print this out. If it evaluates to false, if this is false, then print this one here. Please stop me anytime you have any question. I'm hoping we have covered this already in practical. Yeah, so then you have nested if-else statements here. You have, in this case here, you have an if here, you have an else, and then within this else here, you can have another if. So having another if-else statement with another if-else statement, that's a nested if. This if here could have been inside this if, could be inside an else. Within this else here, you can have another if-else. So that is the concept of nested if-else statements. So as you can see here in the flow chart, you have a decision there, and when evaluates to false, you have another decision statement here that is evaluated. So logical operators, you have looked at them, less than, or equal to, and the like. If you're following with us, you should understand what is happening here. Just a little FYI, is one way you can look at it. If you have a bunch of if, like here, we're checking if value is greater than 50 and that value also is 100. If it confuses you, especially because we are going to do a written test 1, we'll be coding it, we'll be writing your test 1 and your test 2 as well. You will be writing code for me. It's your practice after that is done on the computer. But what you do is, you just write a little, maybe like, let us say, in this case here, if the user enters 110, you check, is 110 greater than or equal to 50, write a small t there. Then you check, is 110 less than 100, is false. Now you know, if you know the rules, a true and a false is a false. Only a true and a true give you a true for R. You know the rules there, right? Okay. So yeah, if it's 40, false, true, false, true, true, true. Yeah, there you go. If you do not know them, I can send you a quick chat later on. But basically, you have the and there, you have the or, and you have the not, and yeah, deal with them accordingly. Just remember, for or, if anything is true, the statement becomes true. Okay. And here, if this is a little bit confusing for some people. Because this is not. Now what happens is, if this is true, this makes it false. So we are checking for the false, not the true. If this is false, this makes it true, we're checking for the true. So that's why they are confused people. This negates, it negates whatever this is. So if this was true, this makes it false. So the whole statement in here becomes a false statement. All right, and yeah, if else, if else, if else, if. There are some functions here, but okay, only one for you, that is fine. Well, we are pointing out here that if you're checking for, we won't leave the characters a lot, but we are checking for, if someone is checking for F, if you is case sensitive, so if they're checking for a lowercase one, and your code only recognizes uppercase, then it's going to fail. What happens in real life, almost every single time you enter something, the code is changed to a common case. So for example, when you enter something, the user changes everything to maybe lowercase, and he checks with lowercase. But at your level, maybe that is not very important for you to know yet. Then we have the switch, which I just showed you lastly. You say the word switch, then the value which will be checked, like maybe this could be grade, and then you open a close bracket. So like case A, that means where grade is A, do something, break. Where case is B, do something, break. Where case, and then there's a default here. And you notice that the break statement for the default is not required. And yeah, I don't think anything else is necessary here. Some little work I added for you to look through. You will look through this here. Okay. Any questions? You have the exercise. Please try it. Time, yes. What? Yeah, they should be there inside your model. I don't know if I put everything here. If you go to your model, there is okay. If you go to your model, you go to your course resources. There's a section here called course outline and resources. Inside there, I'll be putting all of the files that you guys in. So at the moment, I have this and this. Okay, I'm going to add the other one as well. So check inside there, you'll find the slides. All right, any other questions? Okay. The important thing here is practice. I hope you will practice. When you practice, you will have some questions you can ask me in case you have any issues. But basically, you will check inside your window. I have put one of the links there as this assignment. Yeah, there is practice assignment, auto structures, conditional statements. So you can try that out. I advise you to try at least half of the questions. Make sure you can do at least half of them. Both the ones in section 1 and the ones in section 2 here. They are very short. I believe you can actually do all of them just overnight today. Again, make sure your code, when you run it, this is what the user actually sees. Okay? That is part of the assignment. Make sure when someone runs your code, it shows enter side 1, the user enters the 12. Enter side 2, the user enters the 12. Enter side 3, the user enters 12. Then you're going to do some calculation, which is going to tell you that a triangle is equilateral. You know how to check if the triangle is equilateral? Yes. Where is the triangle equilateral? Exactly. So after you get all these 3 values, you just check, is this value the same as this one, the same as this one? If all the 3 are the same, you know that it is a triangle. And this question here, but on a more complex level, I sometimes set in that you find an exam. This is just an example. exact question, but you can see, you look at a question like this. You have there two. Of course, when I give you some names, I'll give you the equations. I don't expect you to know, to remember all this stuff here, actual variables and all that stuff there. But these questions are very simple. Because look at this one here, for example. Prompt the user to enter coefficients. So you're basically going to ask them, enter their A, enter the B, enter the C. Now those they form part of it. That part of the equation there. Now, we're going to create something we call a function. We're going to look at it very soon in a week or two. Called this. It's going to accept this, and then it's going to calculate. So basically, just entering the values in here, and it's going to give you a value of D. Then you're going to have an if statement just checking. If D is greater than 0, or if D is equal to 0, or if D is less than 0. If it's greater than 0, they are really distinct. If it's equal to 0, they are equal. If it's less than 0, the rules are complex. You see just a bunch of if statements. So ask the user, do a bunch of if statements there to do that. And then now you're going to check whether the rules are real. The rules are real or they are complex. So again, it's just some if statement checking something, and it checks it, it gives you an output. So its exams are not difficult, just more comprehensive. Okay, that's all for today. If somebody has a question, you can come to me personally. I'll be here for a while. All right, that's all.